All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, double honors to the sincere apostles and elders of a great millstone who are my teachers. And peace and salutations to you brothers out there preaching his word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yahweh Sap with another lesson. And today, man, just going to be going into some news and prophecy, linking up the things that are happening in the world to the scriptures. All right, because that's how you measure the time diligently. Okay, and what we're seeing is that we don't have too much time left here in Esau's kingdom. All right, we see the self-proclaimed so-called white man, his end is very nigh. All right, you're seeing nations take up proverbs against him. They're mocking America. All right, you got Esau being exposed for being the devil. All right, no one is on his side anymore. All right, except certain foolish nations that think that America's in a continue on. But we know that America's finished. All right, this place is done. You got oil prices rising. You got civil war brewing. You got Satan divided against Satan, World War III. All these are signs of Esau's end. Okay, and the signifying of our kingdom about to be established. With Yahweh Shai's return. All right, him raising up the elect men and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. All right, all these things are happening because the scriptures say it's going to happen. All right, and so for my first precept, I want to grab the book of St. Luke, chapter 21, and jumping right to the point in verse 28, it says, "And when these things begin to come to pass, and then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh." So we're seeing these things come to pass, and we're looking up. And lately, you've been seeing a lot more chariot sightings. All right, you're seeing chariots pop up before missile strikes. All right, you're seeing chariots pop up at camp. You're seeing chariots going around Esau's military bases. All right, all manner of chariots everywhere, and we're seeing it. So we're looking up because our redemption draws nigh. We're having more faith. You're seeing brothers increase, all right, getting stronger and stronger, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, because we understand that, hey, we're at the end. All right, we're everything that we've been preaching about, starting from the apostles and elders on down, for 30 plus years, man, just preaching about the end of Esau's kingdom, and we're finally here. Excuse me. And now's not the time to get weak. Now's the time to renew your strength and continue in faith, man, because we're living in some beautiful times. All right, and so from here, I want to jump to the book of Habakkuk, all right, because we're seeing these different nations make a mockery of America, specifically the so-called self-proclaimed white man Esau Edom. All right, we're seeing these nations take up a taunting proverb against him. All right, and I have a couple of videos I want to play for you. They're not long, maybe 30 seconds to 2 minutes with the videos I'm going to play. But pretty much you're seeing Iran, they've been releasing some videos just mocking America. All right, and showing forth the destruction of America, which is it's all spiritual. All right, everything that you see happening is spiritual. You got 2/3 of Americans that are pretty much depressed. All right, they can't afford their bills. All manner of wickedness going on with that. So this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." And that's right, we're living by our faith. Adawan Rajazah, we're the just. It says, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." And he's been doing this pretty much since he established America, man, going into different nations, all right, subduing them, all right, because he was considered the hammer of the whole earth. All right, especially when he found out nuclear capability. He dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right, that's when the nations really bent the knee. But now these nations are seeing how weak America has become. Pertaining to Isaiah 14, it tells you, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? And that's what these nations are looking on America as. All right, because if you've been paying attention to everything that's been going on, you can see how foolish America has become. They're getting bombed to hell by these Iranians. Their government is in shambles. All right, their people are confused and lost. All right, when beforehand America was seen as the pinnacle of the earth on how to be, how to live. All right, they people believe that this place was built up with gold cities and gold streets. All right, they're wiping their ass with gold toilet paper. All right, but that's not the case. It's actually being found out that this is the place of wickedness. Okay. And so it says in verse 6, which is the point, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay talking about debt. All right, because when you get that word clay, it's ibaja. All right, meaning debt, heavy weights. All right, and America's, I believe the last time I checked, it's like 37, $38 trillion in debt, and it's only increasing. These things are only increasing. And so it's a beautiful thing to see that these nations are taking up these proverbs and these taunting proverbs, should I say, against America. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and play these videos for you. Salaki, I know I was long-winded on this one, but these things are happening, so check this out. Let's go. Here we go. You see that? Look at that, one vengeance for all. So you're seeing these things happen very spiritually, man, and you see how they replaced the Statue of Liberty with it looked like what's his name, Beelzebub. He had the goat's head with the horns. He was wearing this. Let's rewind that. He's holding a torch. The Bible or the book, whatever they're holding. And you can see that the statue is bleeding. And what's very spiritual about it too is that the first person that they showed was the so-called Native Americans, which is very spiritual, and this is what Iran had released, I believe, about a few days ago. And then they came out with this video. Let's go ahead and play it. Check this out. You see how they were sitting with Satan. Hey, Salakia, I'm gonna keep it playing. So there, this is a taunting proverb, man, and people are starting to see it. People are understanding, like, okay, America, they got set up, for the okey doke, right? The Lord had them step into a snare. Esau thought he was gonna go over there, uh, bomb Iran, and that nothing was gonna happen. And we're seeing this is all beautiful. So I looked up, right, the taunting proverb here in Habakkuk, pretty much just to get a modern way, to see what it looks like. So let's see. We'll scroll up. It says what it means. The Hebrew idea combines a proverb, a short, memorable saying, a taunt or satire, a mocking, cutting remark. So together it means a sharp, poetic insult or ridicule spoken publicly about someone's downfall. And that's what you just saw with that short Lego clip. All right, and you can see how Trump, he was walking on the American soldiers' coffins. Pretty much going to show that he in order to accomplish that what he's doing, man, he's having to put a lot of his people to death. And so it says the verse is talking about nations rising up against a powerful oppressor, often understood as Babylonian Empire, which that Babylonian Empire is back today known as America. Okay. It says the deeper idea, this taunting proverb is a judgment speech, a way of saying you thought you were powerful, but now everyone sees your corruption and mocks you for it. And that's right, man. People are in the understanding that, okay, the whole reason why the U.S. went to war with Iran was to distract people from the Epstein files. And even, in that video, you seen how the first video that I played, you seen that the little girl from Epstein Island was looking up. All right, because these nations know, these nations know the type of wickedness that Esau has been doing behind closed doors. It's all being exposed. All right, Esau's not able to hide himself anymore. Okay, and so it says a reversal moment. The oppressed become the ones speaking truth and ridicule. It's a simple modern way to think of it. It's like a viral quote mocking a fallen leader, a sarcastic chant against someone who abused power, a poetic call out that sticks in people's memories. And best believe that short Lego clip will stick in people's memories. And that's why you have Iran, they're releasing videos like that, because that's really how you get the younger generation to engage in what's going on. You show them videos. Excuse me. It says, bottom line, a taunting proverb in Habakkuk 2:6 is a mocking, poetic accusation spoken against the wicked, especially after their injustice is exposed and judgment is coming. Ooh, so there you go. After their injustice got exposed and the judgment is starting to come, all right, now they're taking up these parables against him and mocking him in every way that he's going. All right, let's read some of these comments. All right, it says Iran knows time is on his side. Pat precision sorties have already dwindled. Iran slowly activating some of its hidden air defenses. Look at this, Pat. Yad's missile city, one of the most heavily bombed, yet it continues to fire missiles. 2 missiles were fired. There you go. Exactly. IRGC even made a video of their spokesman interrogating Donald Trump.
Island.
I wasn't on Epstein's island.
Liar! Say I don't worship Baal.
I don't worship Baal.
Liar! Say I'm a son of a bitch. Say it!
I'm son of a bitch.
And there you go, man. You see, these are this is beautiful. Someone said detailing. Look at that. You see his hand, right? And then the Lego hand. All right. This is all beautiful, man. This is all beautiful. Let's take a look at that first video. All right, just to see the comments on that one. And there's more that I want to get into. These are just, short little clips that go to show. There you go, man. And then in the meantime, you got this man, asking people for help. All right. It says this from the poster Megatron. It says Marco Rubio complains that Iran is planning to permanently control the Strait of Hormuz and charge a toll. He admits the U.S. is powerless to stop it alone and begs the rest of the world to step in. So check this out.
By all we've about. We're talking about this. There are some in the Iranian regime that are going around saying that they want to make the Strait of Hormuz tolling thing, they want to make it permanent. That's unacceptable. The whole world should be outraged by it. We're impacted by it a little bit, but the rest of the world is impacted by it a lot more, including many of the countries represented today here at the G7. And so if those countries are deeply impacted by it, all we've said is, you guys need to do something about it. We'll help you, but you guys are going to need to be ready to do something about it. Because when this conflict and when this operation ends, if the Iranians decide, well, now we control the Straits of Hormuz, and you can only go through here if you pay us, and if we allow you to, that's not only is it illegal under international law and maritime law, it's unacceptable. And that can't be allowed to exist. And so what we've said is that the countries that are most impacted by that should be willing to do something about it, and we'll help them. And that's what I said.
Hey, how wicked? How
We're
wicked
talking
of this
about
man to say it's illegal when they're the ones who started the war. All right, the whole reason why the Strait of Hormuz was closed was because they are the ones that attacked Iran. All right, so these people, they're done, man. These different nations are done. You Americans may not really be paying attention like that, which is we understand. But for the rest of these nations, they know what's happening around them. All right, they see the wickedness of America being exposed, and everyone's with it. All right, they're begging for help again. All right, you had Trump that begged for help, and these different nations ignored him. Because it was America that started the war. So let me go ahead and grab this. Let's see. Let me grab this. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And that's right, man, because all the wickedness that he tried to hide behind closed doors, such as the Epstein files, the Epstein Island, Bohemian Grove, things like that, it's all coming out. It's all coming out that it was the so-called white man that's been doing these things, okay? And so it says in verse 7, which is the point, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And so these nations, they're not going to be dealing with America very much longer. All right, they're going to see the fool that America is making itself out to be, and guess what? They're gonna join to the winning side. All right, pertaining to Revelation 17, let me grab that. It tells you that it was according to the Heavenly Father's will. All right, that they were even given their kingdom into His hand. So Revelation 17, and let's see. I'm gonna start at verse 12. All right. So Revelation 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that's right. So because they were clicking up with America, they had certain power, certain authority that they can execute. All right. But now that they see America is losing, all right, what are they gonna do? They're gonna forsake her. All right, pertaining to Jeremiah 51, right? They're going to say, forsake her, let us return everyone into his own land. Verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, which is why America was so strong in the first place, right? Because they had all these different nations that were backing them up. But now these nations are turning against them. Verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So despite everything that's going on, these nations are going to fight against Yahushua. When Yahushua returns, they're going to fight against him. They're going to click up. All right, and they're gonna turn and fight against Yahushua. But what's going to happen? Yahushua is going to overcome. Verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And that's right, because this is the man that heapeth unto himself all nations, kindreds of the earth. All right, pertaining to Habakkuk 2. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Talking about those missiles. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And so these words are being fulfilled, which is why you're seeing these different nations. They're not dealing with America anymore, man. Let's check this out. So like, yeah, it's long-winded. Let's see how many nations rejected America's plea. All right. Right, what the data actually shows, President Trump said he asked about 7 countries to help. Several key allies have explicitly refused or ruled out involvement, including Germany, Spain, Italy. Additional countries reported as rejecting or declining: France, Australia. Others like the UK and Denmark haven't fully refused but are hesitant and avoiding direct military involvement. And so there you go. Around 22 countries have expressed willingness to support securing the strait, not necessarily combat rules. So that's pretty much they're going to be trying to go through negotiation, which Iran came out and said, look, y'all come to us, and we'll allow you to get through the Strait of Hormuz by a price. So pretty much they set up a sanction on the Strait of Hormuz, right? 5 to 6 countries out of the 7 countries that Trump had asked, 5 to 6 countries have rejected it pretty much. So that's what, around, if you put it in percentages, about 85-90% that have rejected the plea for help. Okay. And so these things are happening, man, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So here I want to play this for you. Just to show you how foolish this nation is.
What is missing in leadership? Missing right now. What is missing in leadership?
Well, it's winning. You got to win. I've watched a lot of people, leaders, great leaders. And, the one thing about sports is you break it down into, a 2-hour period, something nice. You don't have to wait a lifetime to find out if somebody a winner or a loser. You got a lot of losers, mostly losers, fortunately. It's a good thing to have a lot of losers. I always like to hang around with losers, actually, because it makes me feel better. I hate guys that are very, very successful, and you have to listen to their success stories. I like people that like to listen to my success.
Look at that. Right. He's surrounding himself with losers because he himself is a loser, man. So this nation is done for. All right, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man. Your time of ruling is up. You don't have too much longer. All right, and everybody is starting to see it. Okay, and then check this out. You have Yemen Houthis stand ready to enter Iran war, which I believe. Let me see. Let me see this. Yeah, they have already actually entered. It says breaking in a major escalation. Yemen's Houthi group has officially joined the war with a ballistic missile launch at Israel just as the war hits its 1 month mark. All eyes are now on the Bab al-Mandab Strait. If closed, the world loses another 6 million barrels of daily oil supply. All right. Breaking: Yemen Houthis have officially entered the war alongside Iran against the U.S. and Israel. Bab al-Mandab Strait is at risk, like the Strait of Hormuz, which could bring catastrophic consequences for the global economy. And so things are only going to get worse. All right, like Yahushua said, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of sorrows. All right, let me grab this. I'll grab this in Matthew 24. All right, and jump it down to verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And that's right, man. This is just the beginning. It's only going to get worse. All right, things are only going to get worse. The foolishness of Esau is going to become more and more plain as these days go by. All right, you're going to have famines, pestilences, All right, which there's already a famine cooking up, which Lord's will I can do a lesson on that later today. But you got these farmers that are begging people for help. All right, over there in Australia. They're not getting any diesel, I believe it is, so they're not able to deliver their goods. All right, and they were talking about the truckers. So a lot is happening, man. A lot is taking place. Not there's not one thing that the Heavenly Father has said that isn't coming to pass. So let me also grab this in the book of Second Ezra 16. All right, and I pray I'm making sense. It's like if I seem all over the place. Second Ezra 16 and verse 19, it says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down." And these are the times that we're coming into, man. And you see it. You see how these different nations are joining the war. All right, you see how they're taking up taunting proverbs against America. All right, the government of America is being found out to be full of losers and fools. All right, and this is all signifying the end of Esau's kingdom, man. The Lord's not going to allow this kingdom to continue to stand for very much longer. All right, we're about to see the full collapse of America very soon. All right, Lord's will, sooner rather than later. All right, and may this be the last year that we're here. All right, because there at this point there's not really much else that we need to go into. Of course, we're going to still continue to put our lessons up. We're going to still continue to go out on the highways and hedges until the Lord removes us. But you're going to see the repeat of the same things over and over, except it's only going to escalate. Things are going to escalate. More and more people are going to die. It's going to get a lot worse. You're going to see more famines. You're going to see more plagues. All right, you're going to see the Strait of Hormuz get even tighter. All right, the gas prices are only going to continue to soar. All right, actually, let me see if I can grab that right now. You got do not travel warnings, right? The most dangerous countries right now for America. Let's count these countries that they're telling you not to travel to: Afghanistan, Belarus, Burkina, Burma, Central Africa. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. About 22 countries that you're not able to go to now. Oh, it's Salaki. It said it right there. But you got 22 countries that they're telling you not to travel to. And the scriptures say a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. Second is 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And why are they afraid? Because of all the war, all the death that's going on around them, man. All right, you got American soldiers that are afraid of going to war. They don't want to be sent off because they understand that they're going to die. They're being sent to their deaths. All right, I believe the brother I believe he's from New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, the elder Amawanga Bar. All right, he went into that. He went into how you soldiers are not going to be returning. You get sent to Iran, you get sent to over there to Yemen. All right, you get sent to Israel, you get sent to any of those so-called Middle Eastern countries. You're not making it back. And if you do make it back, you're coming home to a home full of hell and chaos. All right, things are only going to wax worse and worse. All right, so let me see. Lord's will, I saved it. You got the U.S. Treasury declares insolvency with $47.8 trillion in liabilities. All right, which insolvency, if you don't know, it just pretty much means they're broke. America is broke. Okay, Con, I didn't save it. But there's more that I want to touch on. Adonai, we can go ahead and get into it. Let's check this out. Hegseth prays for overwhelming violence during Pentagon Christian service. So these devils are praying for violence, and guess who the violence is going to be done to? It's going to be done to America. All right, this place is not going to continue for very much longer. All right, and so with that being said, I pray that this lesson was edifying, uplifting of the spirit. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. Call Halayim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. All right, until the next time I say Shalom.